it's me, Lauren again. Hi. So, guys remember, like I made a video a little while ago, where I discussed, like how I study kanji and how many I know and things like that. So here's like what I had been doing before, like a full page. So before, like I would just write kanji over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. And basically I would be able to sort of like recognize it, sometimes remember what the meaning was in Japanese, but I mean look at that, like I'm learning not only how to write it in the correct stroke order and like what it means in English, but also like, you know, all the meanings in Japanese, like how to, all the readings in Japanese, which sometimes are many. And so like it's difficult. And I definitely could not remember it very well if I wanted to write it on my own. But yeah, so I did mention that I had this other book, this Remembering the Kanji 1 book that I have. My brother gave it to me for my birthday about a year ago, probably. But I didn't really look at it because I was using the Genki textbooks. And I didn't want to like interrupt my Genki textbook learning with like, you know, adding like thousands more kanji. So yeah, but anyway, so this week I was a little bit bored at work because they were handing back their winter break homework, so I didn't have classes the first couple days, and I thought, you know, I mean, you know, I've studied so hard in my Genki 2 book, maybe I'll take a break from that and actually try to learn the kanji that I'm like supposed to be learning. So yeah, so I started learning with this book. So I'm already, like, I don't really have a proper bookmark or anything, but I have, like, a paperclip here, as a bookmark. So, you know, I'm on page, 96, and I've been doing this for 4 days. Probably like 3.5 days, probably. But, still, a little while. And it's a really, really good book, I have to say. I would definitely recommend it. For anyone trying to learn kanji. I mean, I'm not even like all the way through it, but even just like from what I've done, totally recommend it. Especially if you're like myself. Like I'm a very visual learner. And I'm pretty imaginative, and if something's not that imaginative, or if it's not important enough in like a visual way for me to want to remember it, I'm not gonna remember it. So yeah, hence my problem with learning kanji. I mean, basically he tells you an interesting story about the kanji that you can then visualize, kind of, or just like be like, well, that's weird, and then you can remember it. And some of them are kind of far-fetched, but basically like in the first part of the book, I just like flipped through, I didn't really look too far at it, but in the first part of the book he gives you stories, and then as like the book goes on, he just gives you like, you know, either a tiny little bit of information about it, or, you know, just the keywords as to what it means, because by that point you should already know how to create your own story about the kanji and how to make it memorable for you. So, I mean, I don't know about you, but I think that's kind of cool because, you know, it becomes like a very personalized learning experience, basically. You know, like you can learn that kanji the way that you want to, but at the same time, in that process, you're going to be remembering how to write it. And basically, like by teaching you the parts of the kanji and how to write those, when you form more difficult kanji, like you already know how to write all the parts. So it's a lot easier to learn, you know, just how to write it and what it means, you know, and then later build off of what you've already actually learned and what's like a more concrete memory than to try to learn everything at once. Yeah, at least it works for me. So what I've been doing to study these is like I've got like a whole bunch of different flashcards here. Each color is like a different day that I decided to make flashcards. But I'm not really using them like I would ordinarily use flashcards, like just like going through like, what is this? I don't use them that way. And what I find really interesting about using this textbook is because like there's like an interesting story that either, you know, I found really interesting and I read it, or I changed it and created it myself. It's so much easier to remember like the meaning of it. Like you really don't have to practice it all that much. So basically, like I have the kanji here on one side. So this is like part of the word hayaku. So it's like quick or early. So, and then on the back, like, I wrote, like, the meaning. And, like, the meaning is, like, a keyword. It might not be the exact meaning of the kanji, but it's a meaning that makes sense and that will be used to build other kanji. Like, that meaning will be part of the other kanji that you can see it in. So, you know, and then it has, like, a little story that I wrote. Like, here, like a sunflower or the first flower to bloom. Because if you look at the top, this part, the kanji, means sun. So then oh, I know that. Like, I already know that kanji, so I just build off of it. I mean, I had already studied this previously, but, like, now I actually remember how to write it, like, on my own. So, I mean, I showed you, like, how I was studying before. So basically, like, I use now these flashcards and just, like, go through, like, I'll only look at the kanji side, and then I'll write, the meaning. So, like, that's down here. So, like, I only look at the kanji, and I write the kanji first also, just to practice, but I will only write the meaning next to it. And then I go through afterward and grade it. So, like, on this side, like, this one goes up to here. So I got, you know, 60 out of 61 correct. So, like, a 99%, basically, on this, you know, first thing. And then over here, this was the writing practice. So I only looked at the meaning side. And then had to remember what the kanji looked like. And I got, you know, a 94%. It's like 57.5 out of 61. Like, I give myself half credit for one. Yeah, so, yeah, like, that's amazing to me. And, like, I'm really proud of myself, and I'm not, like, trying to, like, show off, like, look at all these kanji that I did. I'm just, like, I'm just baffled at how different, like, the learning process for learning it this way with, like, with this textbook is as compared to the old-fashioned way, like the way that I learned in class, like the one Japanese class I took. That's how I was learned. That's how they taught us to study kanji, just to write it over and over and over and over again. And that's how, like, the Japanese teachers at my school have learned it, and that's how they've told me to study kanji. But, I mean, it's like such a way more effective way. And, like, all I did was, like, I made the flashcards and I read the stories, and then I took this, and that's it. You know, it was easy. And, I mean, kanji is not easy, but, like, compared to the previous way, really easy. So we'll see as the book goes on, but so far I feel like I'm actually learning something, and that's something. So yeah, you know, one step closer to literacy. I guess the only downside is that it does teach you one kanji at a time and not the actual word associated with that kanji, or how to pronounce it in Japanese. But as I said earlier, it's a lot simpler to just learn one thing at a time, as opposed to everything at once. So yeah, I just wanted to share that with you guys, and I know you guys are interested in, not everyone, but a lot of you are interested in learning Japanese and learning kanji, so I thought I would share this resource with you. So I hope you guys check it out. Yeah. Bye! Good luck in your Japanese studies! Bye!